Next one is the important topic, the evaluation context. So what do you mean by evaluation context? What do you mean by evaluation context? That is the question now, okay? To understand or master the DAX functions, it is very much understand or important to understand the evaluation context in DAX. This is very much important. This is the this is a fundamental building block, right? If you don't understand, all the DAX class are waste, okay? To start with, let us understand at a basic level of the concept, and then we'll proceed with taking a deep dive, okay? So the evaluation context is nothing but the environment in which a DAX formula is evaluated in, okay? The environment in which a DAX formula is evaluated in. See, when we write a DAX functions or formula, it gets evaluated within that environment, right? And the set of filters that are applied as means when it is calculated. Okay, so when you use the filter context or row context, right? Sorry, filter context. What happens? The filters set of filters that are applied to DAX expression. Whenever you write any DAX expression, right? Not only the slicer or filters, right, that will get applied, and apart from this, the row level, column level filters will also get applied. Okay, the set of filters that are applied to DAX when it is calculated. Don't worry. With this simple example, you'll be able to understand what exactly the evaluation context is all about. What is set of filters applied? All the things you will understand. Let's consider a very simple example for a measure like, sales amount is equal to sum of fact sales amount. I want to compute the, I want to compute the total sales amount column. Okay, I want to perform total on the sales amount column that is available as part of my fact sales table. So for that, I'm going to use some function. Okay, and this is my measure. This is my measure. In this measure, you remember total sales I've used, right? I've created a measure a while back. Total sales is equal to sum of sales. You remember the same thing here, okay? But only thing is the table name is different here. That's all. What happened? So I have two table visual here. I have two table visual. Listen very carefully. The first column is location name. It's a categorical column. Second one is a category column. Even this one is a categorical column. Along with that, the moment when I drag and drop the measure sales amount, what happens is it gives me the breakup or breakdown of total sales by location here. It gives me this total sales, it gives me the breakdown of total sales by category. And if you see the total value, both of them are same, but when you look at the row values, it is different. Okay. See, in this case, right, but if you think carefully, right, so this formula computes exactly what it is supposed to compute, right? The sum of all the sales amount. It's a big number with no interesting meaning, right? This one. But the moment when I drag and drop the sales amount column along with the location name, it gives me the breakdown of total sales by location, and the same measure when I dropped here along with the category column. So here it gives me the breakdown of sales amount by category. Automatically it happens. Did I write any measures to give the sales breakdown by location, give the sales breakdown by category? No, right? That is the beauty of DAX. That is the beauty of Power BI. This is the magic, okay? But in this case, what happened? The same measure, right? The same, see, in this case, the formula is in both the cases. The sales amount, I use it here as well as here. Okay, in both the cases, I have used the same measure. But, sorry, the same measure, I used it in this visual. I have used it here also. But depends on the environment. It behaved differently. Okay. So when you drop the sales amount column, the measure, so no, it's not a column, it's a measure. When you drop the measure along with the location name, it automatically gives me the breakdown of total sales by location. The same measure, when I drop it along with the category column, it gives me the breakdown of total sales by category automatically. But the formula is same, right? But single measure that behaves differently because of the environment. So in this case, the sales amount measure, you drop it along with the location name column. In this case, the sales amount, you drop it along with the category. So the row values should not be same, right? Here it is location, Bangalore, Chennai. Here the beverages, dairy, the dry fruit, these are the categories. The categories are different, locations are different, isn't it? Hence, obviously, it gives us the breakdown of sales amount. The same measure behaves differently, right? In this case, the sales amount, we can see the breakdown of sales amount by total sales amount by location, the breakdown of total sales amount by category. Okay, but the totals are matching. Obviously, this is my total sales. The question is, how do we get different values on each row? Because of the environment, right? Because of the environment. Okay, so this is called the evaluation context, right? In this case, for each row, we get different values, though the total sale value is same. Each row, we are getting the difference. So how do we get different values on each row? This is because of the evaluation context. So evaluation context is nothing but the environment in which a DAX formula is evaluated. This is what my DAX formula, the different environment, my DAX formula will also behave differently. This is called the evaluation context. Remember this. I just show you a demo for this. Same thing. This is the one, right? I just create 1 second. In this case, I don't have that one. Location dimension, I don't have it. Okay, I just show it with another example. For example, I just, instead of location, use some other categorical column. So for example, here I just drop the sales W04. I have something called, where is the category column? I just drop the category column here. And then I'll create another table visual. Let's say I put segment here, okay? We have three segment, one blank value, you can ignore it, okay? Consumer, corporate, home office. Segment is a categorical column. Category is also a categorical column, okay? Now we will look at the measure which we created. Total sales M. This is the measure that I created it. 1 second. Click on this total. You can see the total sales M is equivalent to sum of the sales, right? This is the measure. The same measure, I'm going to use it along with these two different category column in the table visual. Let's see what happens. For that, I need to select this visual first, and then I just click on the cross here, and then the sales W04, I just drop sorry, not the total sales for the measure, right? I just drop the total sales measure. It's an explicit measure. Here also, I just drop the total sales. In both the cases, you can see the total sales value was same, but the breakdown of the total sales here in this case, it was with the category. Here it gives me the total sales breakdown by consumer. If you compare the row, right, it is different, but the total values are different. So the total value, though the total value is same in both the visual, the same measure, it gives me, it behaves differently because of the environment. So in this case, along with the category, when you drop it, so it gives me the breakdown of total sales by category. With the same measure, when you drop it along with the segment is also categorical column. It gives me the total sales breakdown by consumer. Here 14,940 because some missing values are. That's why you can ignore this record. Okay. So this is what I have explained a while back here. Okay. That is what called as the evaluation context. In this case, though the total sales measure, we have used the same formula, sum of sales. It behaves differently because of the environment, right? So in this case, when you drop this along the category, it is different environment. When you drop the same measure total sales along with the segment, it is a different environment, okay? So there are two types of evaluation context in general: row context and filter context. So what is a row context? When you create a calculator column, what happens? It performs row by row operation. Even in the case of measure, you can implement the row context. And filter context, you can use it, okay? Next, we will see what is the row context. See, when you look at the internet, you will see the three types of evaluation: the row context, a filter context, and query context. Okay, the row context, we'll start with understand what is row context. In calculator column, the calculation is done row by row. That is what your row context. Row context evaluated whenever an expression iterates over a table. For example, quantity and price, that is an expression, right? It iterates each and every row. Okay. So in that case, the row context evaluated the quantity into price expression when it iterates, each and every row. The row context exists in a calculator column or iterating DAX functions. So what is iterative function? Yesterday we discussed. What is iterative function? Let me see how many of you remember it. Yeah, Supriya, don't worry. Sangeeta, Shankar, yesterday you did not attend. I remember it. Those of you did not attend. If you don't remember, fine. How many of you? So those of you attended, you should remember, right? So what is iterative function in DAX? We discussed about count functions, right? Count x. The functions that ends with x are called iterating function or iterative function. So you can see you see the calculator column does the row context row by row operation. The same thing you can implement it using your DAX functions. Okay, sum x function, you can use it as part of your measure. Okay, row context does not propagate through relationship automatically. Okay, this I will explain you later. Okay, so row context, remember this in one liner: row context iterates the table, but it does not filter. Somebody is asking what is row context. Row context is nothing but performing the or evaluating an expression row by row. In the case of calculate column, it does the row by row operation, hence it is called row context. Row context iterates the table, but it does not filter. Iterates means row by row, go to each and every row. Okay, iteratively it goes each and every row, and then it performs it evaluates the calculation. Quantity into price, right? Each and every row it goes and picks up the quantity for each and every row and picks up the price for each and every row, and then it multiplies the quantity and price to get the sales amount. Next one is the filter context. See, filter context, whenever a measure is calculated, okay, measure is called, it is a set of filter applied to your data model before evaluation of DAX expression being started, okay. So one or more applied in calculating determined value can be applied using visuals and DAX. Okay, the filtered context can be applied using visuals and DAX. One or more applied in a calculation to this one you may not be able to understand. Don't worry. Okay, so it is set of applied data model before evaluation of a DAX expression being started. As the following source of filter: the row selection, column selection, filter selection, slicer selection in matrix visual based on row and column. This is very important topic. You may not be able to understand now. When I give you a demo, you'll be able to understand. And hence, hang on for some more time. Don't drop the session now, okay? And then even the DAX formula also, you can use filters. And slicer selection is a filter, right? So here, if I go and select low, that is a filter. Okay, there's a filter. Okay, and column selection, row selection, I'll explain a little later. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, so now with this, you'll be able to understand what exactly initial filter context is all about. What is initial filter context? So with this example, I think you should be able to understand. Look here, in this case, if I ask you a question, what is the initial filter context for this particular cell? 7,986. It has been highlighted, right? So this cell got highlighted. Which one? This cell got highlighted in red colored rectangle. Okay. What is the initial filter context for this particular cell? For this, filter context comes from Hyderabad, row level filter. Okay, the initial filter context for this highlighted cell is only coming from the rows in this matrix from location name is equivalent to Hyderabad. Okay, that is what the initial filter context here. Just watch it. So initial filter context for the highlighted cell is only coming from the rows in the matrix or the table visual from location name is equivalent to Hyderabad. So in that case, if somebody is asking you, hey, this is the total sales amount for what? For the location, Hyderabad. For the location, Hyderabad. Location name equal to Hyderabad. So, right, it applies the filter here. Okay. So that is what the initial filter context. Behind the scene, what happens? For example, you have a separate table called location table where you have location key and location. Look here, you have dim location table. Okay. This is your sales fact table. What happens is, right, in this case, in the previous example, Hyderabad, right? So what happens? The location dimension table, the Hyderabad record, right? The Hyderabad will get selected here, and then it will send the Hyderabad, it will propagate the Hyderabad data value to the sales fact table. The moment when it propagate, that means when it passes the value to this table, it applies the filter on the location key for the Hyderabad. Hey, uh, filter only the Hyderabad related transactions. Now we can see only Hyderabad related transaction, right? It filtered only the Hyderabad related, or which means, or in other words, right? It grouped all the Hyderabad related records only here. And then, so here the sales amount, right? So it does the total on the sales amount column. It computes the total on this one. Hence, you get Hyderabad is total sales is 7,986. Can you see that? 7,986. This is what is happening behind the scene. See, in our example, the demo, what I give here I'm using only one table, sales W04. Supposing you have more than one table, like a location dimension table and sales fact table. Here, the location key is the common column exists between these two tables. We have created a relationship between these two tables based on the common column location key. And when you drag and drop right, so when you drag and drop the values, for example, when you drag and drop the sales amount measure next to the location name column here, this is what is happening behind the scene. First, it goes to the Bangalore. Okay, first it goes to Bangalore in the location dimension table. And what is the location key? BLR. The BLR will be propagated, which means it will get passed here. All the Bangalore records will get grouped, and then it computes the total sales on this total on the sales amount column. So that is how you get the Bangalore behind the scene. According to us, you just drag and drop the location name column in your table or matrix usual, and then you drag and drop the measure sales, total sales, or something like that. So behind the scene, what happens is in the location dimension table, it passes the location key to your sales fact table as BLR. All the Bangalore records will get grouped together and then it computes the total sales on the sales amount column. Behind the scene, this is what is happening automatically. Okay. It's something like, we are eating ice cream and let's say today is, no, the Sunday non-vegetarian day, according to us. Okay. And I had nice biryani and chicken gravy, everything. And I had an ice cream. But what happened? I enjoyed, right? But my tongue, enjoyed the taste. But what happened behind the scene? Behind the scene, it goes through my esophagus, all the food. It goes to my stomach, and finally it goes to my intestine, large intestine, small intestine. It produces some juice, and then it digests everything, right? So behind the scene, all these things are happening, right? Automatically. The same thing is happening here. So how it will happen? So the moment when I drag and drop the total sales measure along with the category column, how it gives the breakdown of the total sales by each category? This is how it happens behind the scene. You understand? So what happens in this case? Since the question here is what is the initial filter context for this highlighted cells? So I have highlighted this one. So what happens, right? The Hyderabad value will get passed to this sales fact table. This is a location dimension table. The Hyderabad location key will pass to your sales fact table, and it applies the filter for the Hyderabad. Hence, all the Hyderabad record will get grouped together. Rest of them will get discarded, and and then all the sales amount related to location key, we can see that, and then it applies the, because in this context we have used the total sales measure. So the here in behind the scenes sum of sales, right? So it does the total on the sales amount. Hey, Hyderabad is the total sale. That is what is done. And next it goes to the Pune record, and in here, and then in Pune, so Pune key will be passed here. Only the all the Pune transaction will get grouped together, and it applies this total sales amount. It comes with the total sales on the sales amount. That is how it calculates the total sales for each category and total sales for each segment automatically behind the scene. So now you tell me what is the initial filter context for this particular cell. This is a matrix visual. So in the row, I have used the location name. In the column, I have used the category. So tell me what is the initial filter context for this? Yes, only one person answered. Rupashi answered it. And Supriya, you're partially correct. So what is the location name here? So this value is related to Hyderabad, right? Location name. Location name equal to Hyderabad. Row level filter is happening. Then the column level filter is also happening. So don't give me total sales in Hyderabad location. Give me the total sales in Hyderabad location, especially in the dairy category, right? So row level and column level filters happen behind the scene. That is the reason why we are able to get this value. Okay, the highlighted cell showing 5,391 as a filter context for the location Hyderabad and the product category of dairy. For the dairy category and Hyderabad location or city, what is the total sales? So row level filter, column level filter, it applied. Guys, when you see the internet, even if you see, I bet you, 5 or 10 blogs or videos, you will not be able to understand. I made it that much simple. Okay, look here. So next question is, okay, here you just remember this one. So the highlighted cell showing 5,351.95 as a filter context for the location Hyderabad and the product category dairy. Okay, that is what the initial filter context is happening. The moment when you drag and drop the category column along with the location name, and then if you drag and drop the total sales amount, it gives you the, it applies the filter row level and column level. Here, if you see here, in the location name Hyderabad, what is the total sales we made in dry fruits category? Okay, the same, the rest of them, and so on. Okay, that is what is happening here. Now you tell me what is the initial filter context for this particular cell. Same thing, right? Yes. Rupa, you are correct. Supriya, you are correct. Shankar, you are correct. Sangeeta, you are correct. How about others? What are the initial filter context for? Make a mistake now. Tell me. Yeah. Yes, very good, right? So Bangalore. Location name is Bangalore and product category is ice cream. So this is your row level filter and column level filter is ice cream. Yes. In addition to that, you have a slicer here. The slicer August month selected. Okay. Don't tell me what is the total sales we made in ice cream in Bangalore, but you tell me total sales we made in August month in Bangalore under the ice cream category. So it puts three conditions. So in location, where location name equal, what is the total sales? Where location name equal to Bangalore and product category equal to ice cream, and the month equal to August. Three filters applied here: row level, column level, and the external filter. So these are the initial filter context. Okay. The highlighted cell showing 200 as a filter context for the location name Bangalore, where the product of the ice cream and the month is August. You understood? Very good. So the behind the scene, this is what is happening. You have product dimension table, and you have fact sales, and you have calendar table, and then location dimension. So here the question is, in this case, right, Bangalore. So the location of a location name equal to Bangalore is applied a filter here. And then here in this calendar date table, okay, where month equal to August, select only the August month, select only the Bangalore, and send these two filters to this fact sales table. Along with it, you send one more filter, ice cream. So now what happens in the fact sales, it filters the transactions based on these three conditions. Okay, display or group only the records or the transactions for which the location is Bangalore and the product category is ice cream and the month is equal to August. That's all, guys. See, in the Excel sheet, you apply filter, right? So you have month column, you have product column, you have location column. If you want to see only Bangalore location, what you do? You click on the drop down, you select only Bangalore. And then, right, you have month column. In Bangalore, you want to see only August. Again, you click on the month and you select only August. And then product column, you go and select it. And then you select only ice cream, right? It gives you the total sales for these three conditions, right? What is that? The same thing. In this case, it's all tables. Instead of Excel, the data are stored in four different tables. So these are the dimension tables. Okay, and this is your fact table. Okay, the filters are coming from the dimension tables, and then it does the total on the sales column based on these three conditions only. All we need is the total sales for Bangalore location and where the product is ice cream and the month equal to product. Right, that's all. So the month equal to August. So what do you mean by filter context in DAX? This is what filter context. It applies, right? So the filter context, row level filter, column level filter, and slicer also we are getting the filter. How many types of filter contexts are there? Okay, so when we are applying filter in set of values of columns, set of values of columns or tables using DAX, this is known as filter context. In a DAX, which one will evaluate first filter context or row? This interview question. We discussed about row context and filter context. Let's say I have both the row context and filter context applied. Of those two, which one will get applied first? Filter context. This is not only applicable in DAX, it's it's applicable in all the SQL also, right? So what is the difference between evaluation context and filter context? Filter context is a type of evaluation context, right? There are two types of context. One is the filter context, other one is the row context. The filter context, it's a tricky question. The filter is a type of evaluation, that's all. What is applied as part of filter context? See, the row level filter, column level filter, slicers and filters, on-screen visual like slicer, and or any other visuals, okay, and calculate function. Apart from these filter, row level, column level, slices, filters, on-screen visual related filters, you can use a calculate function. This is a very important function. All the interviews they asked, okay, this question, okay, have you used calculate function? If you say no, they will decide, they will judge you that you never worked in depth in Power BI, because the calculate is an important function in DAX. Using a calculate function also, you can apply the filter. So what is the difference between implicit and explicit filter context? These are the already I discussed, right? And next one is in the internet, when you see, instead of seeing the two context as part of your evaluation context, it will show three types of context as part of your evaluation context: the row context, filter context, query context. Query context is nothing but the combination of row and filter context, which creates the final query for your DAX. That's all, guys. So, is it possible to use filter context along with row context? Yes, that is possible. Okay. You can use the filter context along with the row context also. That is also possible. What is that? Your question, Rupa? Okay, okay, okay. I will just show you later. Don't worry. Okay. You can use the see. You have something called SumX function. We discussed already, right? What is SumX? It's a very simple thing. SumX function we already discussed. The SumX function. See, this function is an iterative function because this function ends with x, right? The function that ends with the name x, that means it's an iterative function. So the iterative function you can use it as part of a measure. Let's here I just say the total sales again. Total sales in north region, something like that. Okay, this is a measure name, sum x. So the function that ends with x called your iterative function. The first argument for your iterative function is what? Excellent, Rupa. Supriya, you are correct. Table, right? First argument is supposed to be table. Instead of table, you can use a filter, right? Filter is also an iterative function. And here, in the first argument, supposed to be where, for example, I'm going to use something like a region, right? So, or let's here, sales fact region is a column name, this is a table name. And here, sorry, sales fact. First argument supposed to be table name, okay? First argument supposed to be a table name, sales fact, comma, you can ignore this one, okay? Comma. Here you can specify the filtering condition. Sales fact, in the sales fact table, region is equivalent to north. Okay, and close this one. So here you have an open parenthesis, corresponding closed parenthesis. We closed it pakka. Okay, the first argument is your table name. Second argument can be an expression in this case or filter condition. Okay, sales fact region. So in this case, what happens is the filter function creates a virtual table behind the scene. That table will contain only the north region related data in it. And then it applies some on that. And then comma, if you say, let's say you use something like, yeah, let's, you have something like in the fact sales table, you have quantity column into the fact sales table, you have the price. So only for the north region, you take the product of quantity by price and then give me the total sales in north. Okay, north region. This is called your expression. And here, this is your filter condition, right? So the SumX function takes the first argument as a table. Since the filter function also returns a table, the virtual table, right? We are going to use a filter function here. We don't want to do a sum on the entire table. Instead, we want to do the sum on the only for the north region. Hence, we have used the filter function here. And this is your expression. 1 second, guys. Somebody's. So in this case, the SumX does the row by row operation. Since it's an iterative function, it does the row by row operation. And here I have used the filter, right? So along with the row context, I have used the filter context also. Hence, you can use the filter context along with the row context. This is an example, okay? In simple term, filter context filters the data. It does not iterate. Row context iterates the table, which means row by row it performs the operation, but it does not do filter. But you can combine these two things. You can combine the filter context along with the row context. That is possible. The next one is the filter functions. This is very important topic. What I will do is, so hope you understood what is initial filter context. You need to remember that. That is very much important. I just stop.